One of the major developments of this past week, the former Transnet Group CEO Siyabonga Gama has denied all charges against him. Gama and 5 others are accused of contravening the Public Finance Management Act, accused of fraud, corruption and money laundering. The organization Undoing Tax Abuse has been invested in this investigation since about 2020 thereabouts, and has also played a role in helping the Investigating Directorate of the NPA. Well, let's take the conversation forward then. I'm joined now by Outa's Portfolio Manager for Transport, Rudie Heyneke, who's been lead also on issues to do with state capture. Rudie, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. So what was your immediate reaction? I imagine that you welcomed it when Siyabonga Gama and others were arrested and appeared in court this week. But specifically, in terms of the journey that you've traversed with this matter and trying to pressure that there should be criminal sanction and prosecutions that follow through, you must have been relieved that finally the effort you've put in is starting to bear fruit.
Good afternoon to Lesizwe. Yes, Outa is very pleased about the arrests that took place on Friday. We do believe that this will be the first of many to come. And in this specific case, I do believe that the NPA has got sufficient and strong evidence to get to a successful prosecution. So,
just for background, the reason I frame it in that way is that you have been submitting dossiers, reports and other submissions to the NPA since about 2020. Just give me a sense of the long and short of the case you are making about these individuals. And as you say, you expect that there'll be more arrests. My understanding is that you expect that there are about, 17 to 19 people that you've identified, but we now have just 5 that have been picked up and have been taken to court.
Yes, if we understand it correctly, the report by the spokesperson of the NPA said that this is a matter with regards to a 93 million rand kickback that was paid to Trillium. Now, this is a transaction there was a front runner to this transaction, a $2.5 billion loan facility at the China Development Bank, where a facility of 1.5 billion rand were taken up. And the other $1 billion, around about 12 billion rand at that stage, was financed by a consortium of banks inside South Africa. And so this investigation, I believe, stands on 2 legs. And if the regional loan facility that was arranged comes into play here, then we will definitely see more people, appearing in court.
And in terms of the strength of the evidence, Rudie, you know how things go in our country, that, there's as the situation is unfolding, it gets politicized and people take a view one way or another in support of the people being accused and against the people being accused. But objectively, what evidence is there from the work that you have done that indicates that the NPA's case against the 6 individuals now charged is actually strong?
Well, our investigation stems from way back, with the Gupta leaks and other whistleblower information that we received, as well as other data sets that we've analyzed. And in our referral, our Section 27 referral to the ID, we could prove or we could give good evidence of what transpired and who received money and, the flow of funds. And I do believe that the ID did more on that, more investigations, got, all the evidence through the right, in the docket, through the right procedures. And therefore, I do not think that this case, if the ID and the NPA is well prepared, that this case will be too difficult for them to prove.
And Rudie, do you now expect that, or have you been notified that you might be called upon to testify during the trial?
I have not received any requests like that. Obviously, if the NPA or the ID calls upon any of the Outa personnel to testify in any of the matters that we investigated, we will gladly do so.
And who are the other people that the evidence you have gathered and some of the evidence that has come from the State Capture Commission of Inquiry itself and the work that other agencies have done? Who are the other people that you expect will soon be arrested?
Without jeopardizing the case of the ID and the NPA before court now, I do think that we can, we will see more former Transnet executives, maybe Transnet board members, and then I do believe that it will stretch as far as the Guptas and Salim Essa.
All right, and then lastly, Rudie, I don't know what you can say around the issue of, for the longest time, the cry was about criminal prosecutions lagging behind all other actions to try and deal with issues of corruption and state capture. Now that we've got some movement on the criminal prosecution front in this particular 1064 locomotives deal at Transnet, what do you know about other redress, whatever monies were lost to these Gupta-linked organizations, whatever monies were pocketed by people who were involved in all of this, the recovery thereof. How far have we come in as far as that is concerned?
Well, I cannot comment on that. I do believe that the NPA and the ID and the asset forfeiture unit, all those people and those agencies are very busy and hard at work to try and recover some of the funds. If we go back to the State Capture Commission and the evidence that was led there, especially the evidence of Mr. Paul Holden, we look at the flow of funds, we can see that a lot of the funds, went offshore, and hopefully, we will be able to, have good relationships with those countries where the funds ended up, and that we can collect some of the funds back and assets that were bought, in countries all over the world.
All right, I've got to leave it there. Thank you for your time. That's Rudie Heyneke from the organization Undoing Tax Abuse. He's been tracking this issue around Transnet for a number of years. In fact, he's their lead in as far as state capture is concerned at Outa.